Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome back to the Montgomery County Council meeting. And this afternoon, our public hearings. We will start with item number 8, which is a public hearing on a resolution to approve supplemental appropriation 25-58 to the FY25 operating budget, Montgomery County Government, Department of Health and Human Services, Montgomery Cares, in the amount of $974,664. The source of funds is general fund undesignated reserves, and amendment to the FY25 operating budget, Resolution 20-526, Section G, designation of entities for non-competitive contract award status. The Primary Care Coalition of Montgomery County, Maryland, Inc., a joint government operations and fiscal policy committee and health and human services committee work session is scheduled for April 21st, 2025. Those wishing to submit materials for the council's consideration should do so by the close of business on April 14, 2025. There are no registered speakers for this hearing. This public hearing is now closed. Item number 9 is a public hearing and action on a resolution to approve supplemental appropriation 25-68 to the FY25 operating budget, Montgomery County Government, Department of Health and Human Services, Public Health Services, COVID Mass Vaccination Cares Grant in the amount of $520,000. Source of funds is a state grant. Council action is scheduled immediately following this hearing. There are no registered speakers for this hearing. This public hearing is now closed. We will now move on to the action portion of this item. Is there a motion to approve supplemental appropriations 25-68?
So move.
Councilmember Fanny Gonzalez moved. Councilmember Sales seconded. All those in favor, please raise your hand. And I have that as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All those who are present. 9. Sorry. Oh, thank you. 9. 10. All right, moving on. That action is taken now. Item number 10 is a public hearing on a resolution to approve supplemental appropriation 25-61 to the FY25 capital budget, Montgomery County Government, Department of Health and Human Services, Diversion Center, in the amount of $650,000. The source of funds is partial GO bonds and partial state aid. A Health and Human Services Committee work session is scheduled for April 21st, 2025. Those wishing to submit material for the council's consideration should do so by the close of business on April 14th, 2025. There are no registered speakers for this hearing. The public hearing is now closed. Item number 11 is a public hearing on a resolution to approve an amendment to the FY25-30 capital improvement programs and supplemental appropriations number 25-63 to the FY25 capital budget, Montgomery County Government, Department of Housing and Community Affairs, countywide facade easement program in the amount of $500,000. The source of funds is state aid. A Planning, Housing, and Parks Committee work session is scheduled April 25th, 2025. Those wishing to submit material for the council's consideration should do so by the close of business on April 18th, 2025. There are no registered speakers for this hearing. This public hearing is now closed. Item number 12 is a public hearing on additional amendments to the FY25-30 capital improvement programs. Committee work sessions are scheduled in April. As a reminder, as of our public hearing testimony guidelines, your comments must be limited to issues relevant to the public hearing topic for which you are testifying and are appropriate for a public meeting. You will hear a tone when your time is up, and we appreciate everyone abiding by their allotted time. We have one speaker, Melissa McKinney. Here she is. You also signed up to speak on the operating budget, so you can do both at the same time and be done with your testimony this afternoon, and you will get 5 minutes for your testimony whenever you're ready.
Good afternoon. My name is Melissa McKenna. I'm here to start your afternoon off with something completely different. The MCPS Shady Grove Bus Depot. It's been an accidental hobby since 2014, so here we are, still no closer to a solution. Quick recap, in 2022,
supporting MCM, you affirmed that Montgomery community and Montgomery County stands for truth, access, and fundamental right to free expression. This is not just a budget decision, it is a statement about the kind of community we want to be. Stand up, for Montgomery Community Media. Stand up for free speech. Stand up for the people of this county. Thank you. And I came dressed so you would see that community media is important.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ricks. Next, we have Katie Crump.
Good afternoon. Thank you for the opportunity to speak before you today. My name is Katie Crump. I am a lifelong resident of Montgomery County and live in Silver Spring with my family. I am proud to live in such a diverse, well-resourced community. As a social service provider for over 10 years, I have seen firsthand how devastatingly close people are to facing poverty, how having to miss work due to one illness or hospitalization or having lack of reliable childcare, or how an unexpected car repair or medical expense can force someone to the brink of homelessness, how vital having social, family, or community support is, and how devastating it can be when you don't have that safety net around you or anyone to turn to. These issues are compounded by things like racial inequity, high cost of living, low wages, and rising rents. I hear from many people who, due to myriad reasons, have found themselves in a position where they need help. They need a trusted listening ear and someone to help guide them through the challenges they're facing and to available community resources. They need financial support so that whatever their current circumstances are, their financial crisis is resolved immediately, thereby avoiding a domino effect in other areas of their life, which continue to set them back. Interfaith Works has two primary prevention programs: the Vocational Services Program, which helps people prepare for and find jobs, and the Connections Program, which connects neighbors to vital services and provides emergency financial assistance to cover rent and utilities. By providing financial support, these programs help to alleviate people's economic burdens. Interfaith Works Connections is a low-barrier program requiring only a handful of eligibility documents, including a past due notice to qualify for assistance. Many other programs, including county programs, can assist only when people are at the point of crisis, requiring an eviction notice or utility disconnect before intervening. Interfaith Works Connections' proactive approach empowers people and helps them meet their financial obligations so that they can avoid being at risk of losing their homes, a devastating and traumatic event for families, requiring more intervention later on. I understand that the current budget situation is extremely difficult and uncertain. However, this makes it even more important to support essential programs like Interfaith Works Connections that prevent people from falling into situations that put them at risk of poverty. Prevention programs help keep people independent and in their homes. Thank you for your consideration.
Thank you so much. Next, we have Tony Alter.
And my family and I have lived in Garrett Park for 27 years. I've served 2 terms as a council member in Garrett Park. I currently ride for the DC Wheels skateboard team. I think they helped me join because I helped pioneer skateboarding, winning skateboard tournaments in California, and I placed 5th in the 1966 National Skateboarding Tournament. So I've seen this sport really mature over the years. Skateboarding is, for many youths, one of the only or main points of social contact. It also provides health benefits through increased stamina, strength, and skill training. I'm also a member of the Skateboard Design Work Group for the Maryland National Capital Park and Planning Commission. This group is helping shape the design of the skate park portion of the proposed Wheaton Action Park. It has become clear over several sessions that our views on the park mirror those beliefs of many community members that this facility will bring huge financial, health, social, and cultural benefits to our county. As you know, there is a large need, as we've heard already here this afternoon, for well-designed facilities for recreation, including skateboarding and family-oriented recreational options here in Montgomery County. The proposed Wheaton Regional Park Master Plan is a practical use of underused land and a cost-effective way to enrich our county. The design is revolutionary, and I firmly believe it will work. It will bring families in as participants, each of whom can find at least one activity that they can participate in. This cost-effective and relatively low-maintenance skate park, the bike paths, adventure play surfaces, climbing facilities, walking paths, and open spaces would be a jewel in the crown of Wheaton area public facilities. It will stimulate commerce as well as social cohesion among the residents. Please plan for the near future so that the Wheaton Action Sports Park can become a reality for individuals, families, and our county. Please find room in the county executive's proposed fiscal year 26 operating budget for Montgomery Park Department's request. Let's support the many young people who have little to turn to but a board with wheels, and provide a world-class facility where they can meet others in a health-promoting, socially interactive environment of our own creation.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you to the panel for your testimony today. Our next panel is Nancy McInerney, Alice Salomon, Byron Johns, Sandra Satch Landis, and Carl Gunther. And Nancy McInerney can start first whenever you're ready.
Hello, I am Nancy McInerney. My testimony to you, the council, is about approving the entire MCPS fiscal year 2026 budget. I am the PTA president for New Hampshire Estates Elementary School, which we call NHE. My kids attend NHE. I am humbled to represent the families that trust NHE with their children. We love this school. Principal Bob Geiger is a tireless advocate for the teachers, staff, and students at NHE. Our educators are passionate about teaching and love to work together. Unfortunately, NHE suffers from design and construction issues that go back decades. The lower level of the school is a basement that is located at the foot of a hill. Mold grows in these rooms because of high humidity and poor ventilation. These rooms are not safe for our kids or their teachers. MCPS already knows about this because our teachers and administrators have been reporting the problems for years. Superintendent Taylor visited NHE on our first day back to school in August. He has seen these problems and has created an FY26 budget that addresses the lack of infrastructure funding that has plagued MCPS for decades. Right now, NHE needs portables to get kids out of the basement and a full cleaning of the air system with functioning AC in each classroom before the school starts in August. By summer, MCPS will have their contracted engineering firm's building assessment and will know how to fix or rebuild NHE, which will cost considerable money either way. Today, I'm asking the council to fully approve the MCPS budget because the mold, ventilation, and drainage problems in NHE that have persisted for decades must be prioritized and remedied. This is category 11, I believe, in the MCPS 26 budget. Additionally, we cannot overlook the inequity in this situation. NHE is a Title I school in the neighborhood of Silver Spring, which is composed of low-income and historically underserved residents. More than 90% of our students qualify for free and reduced meals. We have one of the highest rates of students who qualify for free and reduced meals in MCPS. 72% of our students are Latino, and 21% are Black. 65% are emergent multilingual learners. Not only are they getting by with fewer resources, but many now must deal with increased safety concerns stemming from changes in federal immigration policy. So this is my message. Now it is time to fulfill the council's mission to create equity for these county residents. I believe that Dr. Taylor's leadership, MCPS can provide safe schools for the kids of Montgomery County. The council must approve the full MCPS budget this year. Thank you.
Thank you. Alice?
Good afternoon.
Okay, yep, got it.
Good afternoon, and thank you for having me. My name is Alice Solomon, and I have been a resident of Montgomery County for as long as I can remember. There's no denying that more and more families are struggling to keep up with the high cost of living driven by stagnant wages, high housing costs, and ongoing inflation that has been made worse by an administration that either lacks understanding of basic economics or is deliberately starting a trade war, knowing only the ultra-wealthy will profit from this crisis. As a child of the Great Recession, this all sounds too familiar. Back when the housing bubble burst and my father subsequently lost his job, my family, like many others, found ourselves moving homes, living with others to afford rent, and struggling to put food on the table. And while I thank my parents for making sure I always had enough, I also thank our local community organizations that supported us during challenging times. Through work programs that helped my father find employment and food pantries that provided crucial support and government policies when government policies had failed us. Working in social services, I see that the need for safety net programs is just as pressing as it was then. Last year, 34% of families in Montgomery County experienced food insecurity, 76% of which were working families. We're already living in a time of staggering wealth inequality, where the richest man in the world can spend millions of dollars trying to dismantle our democracy when working families can't even afford a carton of eggs. And now, federal layoffs threaten to make things even worse. Now, I know the budget is tight and tough choices must be made, but this council has committed to centering the needs of residents, and it can do this by investing in services like Interfaith Works Connections program, which provides individuals with rental and utility assistance to prevent evictions, and Interfaith Works Vocational Services program, which equips job seekers with career skills, employment support, and paid training opportunities. These cost-effective programs address both immediate and future needs, helping individuals remain stably housed and financially secure while fostering long-term stability. Therefore, I urge this council to ensure adequate funding for these critical programs, as it is essential for their ongoing effectiveness. By investing in them, you can continue supporting families in need to keep our community strong and resilient in the face of federal changes that threaten the most vulnerable among us. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Next, we have Byron Johns.
Good afternoon. I'm Byron Johns. I'm representing the NAACP, Montgomery County, the Parents Council, and the Black and Brown Coalition. First, I want to say we deeply appreciate what the county leaders have done to provide stability and uphold the rule of law and to protect our community's values. You have asked, as well as we, for data transparency, and I want to commend the superintendent for providing that to us. However, it's crucial to critically analyze what this budget attempts to achieve and what it fails to address. What the budget does. The budget has been referred to as the superintendent's broccoli budget. It is really a fixer-upper. It fundamentally addresses the structural cracks in the district's foundation. If we don't act now, the decay will worsen and the costs will escalate. A major investment outlined in this budget is the underinvestment of special education services. Currently, 4 of 5 special ed students, approximately 8,400, are below grade level in literacy, and 1 in 5, or 2,300 students, are well below, more than 1 grade. This investment is crucially needed. What this budget does not do, however, the budget does not adequately address the historical and foundational issues impacting our Black and Brown students. Specifically, Black students, 1 in 2, about 10,000, are below grade level in literacy, and 1 in 10 are well below. For Latino students, approximately 2 of 3 Latino students, approximately 19,000, are below grade level, with nearly 2 in 10 well below. And in mathematics, these statistics are even more alarming. 4 of 5 Black students, around 13,000, are below grade level, and 1 in 3, or 5,000 students, are well below. For Latino students, 9 in 10, 24,000 students, are below grade level. The State Board of Education has passed policies prioritizing literacy and math, including the retention of third grade students that do not meet grade level standards. If we fail to address these literacy and numeracy gaps, these policies will inevitably require some students to repeat grades, which will lead to increasing costs in the future. Given these facts, we ask the Council to reconsider expanding after-school and out-of-school time academic support funding that has demonstrated efficacy. The magnitude of these issues calls for explicit allocations to provide more for our children to access effective supports. Each $1 million invested provides 25 weeks of after-school or out-of-school time high-dosage academic supports for 1,000 students. There is no miracle. Without investments and additional time on task, many of these students will not have a chance to recover. In closing, I urge the Council to consider these priorities as you deliberate on the allocations for $7.66 billion FY26 operating budget. In these uncertain climate, we must hold fast to protecting and providing a world-class education and not deny our students their futures.
Thank you, Mr. Johns. Next, we have Sandra Satch-Landis.
Good afternoon. Thank you so much for the privilege of appearing before you today for the third consecutive year, actually it's the fourth, to talk about the county's operating budget. I'm the leader of the Montgomery County chapter of WSSCWater, a national organization to ensuring school start times compatible with health, education, safety, and equity. In the interest of full disclosure, I want to share that I've also assumed the role of Bell Time Subcommittee Chair of the MCCPTA Health and Wellness Committee. It used to be important for me to distinguish that because it was the difference between 5 minutes and 3 minutes. But now that I'm at 3 minutes, I'm probably going to go off script and try to make this a conversation because I think that's warranted, especially because I'm asking yet again for $0. So this is not a money issue here, okay? But it is here at a budget hearing because it's about the base budget dollars that are being spent in ways that are not serving our students in the MCPS budget. And we need to put some oversight around it to rectify this. There are a number of areas where at first I was dreading going after Byron Johns because he's so eloquent. Now I'm not dreading it because these topics follow on. Insufficient sleep has had particularly bad impacts on teens. Compounding the sleep deficit is the fact that current bell times require our teens to be woken for school during the most critical time of their sleep cycle, which occurs toward its end, when higher level brain functions develop, including reasoning, problem solving, and good judgment. Our operational disregard in setting safe and effective bell times for teens is harming them, and we're spending millions of dollars on curricula and many other things, and we're precluding them from developing the very critical thinking skills we want them to have because we're forcing them to be woken during the most critical time of their sleep cycles. There's really a lot of handshakes going on here. One of the handshakes is between parents and schools. Parents set sleep times in their house. Schools set start times. The biology of teenagers is such that they're not tired till 11 p.m. at night. It's been proven 3 decades of research. Every medical organization has concluded that school start times should start no earlier than 8:30 a.m. This body funded the Ride On Reimagined initiative. Parents wrote in to try to serve the public schools. We did a $168,000 study that MCPS funded at their base that concluded that their bus service is unsustainable as it is now. That study took 9 months to release. The only way I saw it was through a MPIA filed by another organization, and then the news media picked it up. This body grappled with $1 million cost overrun on that then got rectified because another group got the study out. We need transparency. We hired a superintendent who has changed bell times in 2 of his previous positions. This board needs to tell him to please do that, to please look at it.
Thank you, Ms. Next, we have Carl Gunther.
I'm Carl Gunther from True Friends United.
Mike, can you turn your mic on? Yep, you got it. Oh, it's on.
It's on.
Magic.
Am I on? Okay, thank you. Carl Gunther from Tree Friends United. Our group of over 200 volunteers is cutting vines, ivy, other invasive plants, destroying our trees and ecosystems in the Glen Echo area. Councilman Member Friedson joined us last year at MPS in Glen Echo. We really appreciated that. We strongly support the Montgomery Park's funding request. However, that's conditioned upon changes in park policies that will both encourage and truly empower our communities to fight the spread of invasive plants. Nobody wants them. If you've been in the South, you may have seen how bad things can become. Kudzu and other invasives are consuming their parks and forests. We need to act decisively, or this will be our future. Over 10% of our county is parkland. It's an amazing amount. But the Park Service's highly regulated approach to invasive plant management isn't working. They have a tiny invasive plant management team that's tasked with preserving our 417 parks containing a total of 58 square miles of forests and fields. That's about 10 square miles per staff person that they have to maintain. They just can't do it. And the Small Weed Warrior program can't fill the gap. It's far more focused on restrictions rather than results. Parks regulations regarding the invasive management were established decades ago. The weed warriors are limited to hand cutting. For particularly aggressive species such as kudzu and Japanese knotweed, this is totally insufficient. An internal park study performed in 2003 recognized this and the need for some use of herbicides. But after 20 years, nothing has changed. The spread of invasives continues to accelerate. So time is not on our side. As part of Montgomery Park's budget, we request that the council mandate changes to park regulations. Let established groups such as the Little Falls Watershed Alliance and Friends of Sligo Creek manage their areas and do what it takes to protect their woodlands they cherish. They have years of experience and dedication. Let's harness it. The risks are inherent in change, but if you travel through the South, you can see what's going to happen if we don't take these risks and free the parks from decades of regulatory rigor mortis. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you to this panel. Our next panel is Mindy Baden, Jeffrey D., Jane Houlihan, Thomas Murphy, and Maria Bryacon. And Mindy Baden, you can start when you're ready.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Council President Stewart, Vice President Juwando, and the rest of the members of the County Council. I've been here before speaking about measures of pedestrian safety. As always, I have a photo here of my son, Brett. He died 5 years ago as he was crossing Rockville Pike to meet some friends for dinner. Everyone in the county uses the roads, whether they drive, they walk, they bicycle, or they roll. And I want to emphasize the importance of investing in transportation infrastructure that's safe, equitable, and accessible to all residents. Our Montgomery County community is growing, and our transportation systems need to grow also to keep up. In 2024, there were 47 traffic fatalities in Montgomery County. 16 of those were pedestrians. More people are walking, biking, and using public transportation, and we need to prioritize projects that protect the pedestrians and the bicyclists in our communities. I still see bus stops on busy roads that are far away from the nearest intersection and crosswalks, and it seems like people are playing Frogger to cross the street and to get to and from these bus stops. It's not a game, and I'd like to see way more pedestrian hybrid beacons and crosswalks in our county. I do see those in the budget, along with improved walkways and bikeways, traffic signal adjustments, neighborhood traffic calming devices, and more automated traffic enforcement. And I fully support all the traffic projects that will help in achieving our Vision Zero goals. On my 65th birthday, the first thing I did was go to the library and get my senior Smart Trip card. I was like a kid in a candy store. I was so excited to get half-price metro rides and free ride-on trips. This budget includes free ride-on for everybody, not just for kids under 18 and not just for people over 65. Public transit is essential for so many of our residents, and the free fares will ease the financial strain on some of our families and encourage more to use ride-on. My son, Brett, used ride-on buses every day to get to and from his classes at Montgomery College and then to get to and from his job at the Health and Human Services. And my husband, Joe, takes the 53 ride-on bus every weekday to get to and from work. I urge you to continue to invest in transportation infrastructure. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mindy. Next, we have Jeffrey D.
Good afternoon, Council President Stewart and other members of the County Council. My name is Jeffrey D., and I am the President and CEO of Habitat for Humanity Metro Maryland. Thank you for the opportunity to speak today on the FY26 proposed budget. We recognize that this is a difficult budget year for the county, as it is for our organization, many other nonprofits, and our fellow residents. That being said, there is still a huge need for affordable housing in the county. As an example, for our project Alien Place up on Randolph and Fears Mill, we had 27 homeownership slots. We had 143 applications for those slots. We are grateful for the housing funding included in this year's executive's proposed budget, and we encourage the council to pass the budget with these funding levels intact. It's really important to point out that the funding levels as proposed by DHCA and the county executive will ensure that the projects that are currently in the pipeline can move forward as planned, which is really important. The one recommendation I would make to the council as you evaluate this budget centers on the down payment assistance funds. As strong supporters of the More Housing Now package, Habitat, which calls for doubling DPA funds from $4 million to $8 million, we are of course grateful to see the county executive propose a $1 million increase, but we strongly encourage the council to increase the program funding to $8 million. If we are serious about making long-term intergenerational changes for families in the community, the best vehicle, in my biased opinion, of course, is to have is home ownership. Increasing the DPA to $8 million is one way to help make home ownership possible for residents of Montgomery County. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next, we have Jane Houlihan.
Good afternoon. I'm Jane Houlihan, and I'm on the Montgomery Parks Foundation Board of Directors, but I'm actually here today speaking as a resident of the county and also as an environmental engineer who studies the value of healthy environments. And I'm here to ask you to fully fund the FY26 budget request of the Parks Department. I have raised my family in this county, and over the years we have biked and hiked and paddled and camped and you name it in our wonderful parks, and we really enjoy the parks so much. And I just want to highlight 3 reasons today to fully fund the parks budget request. The first, really importantly, is that parks offset the loss of green space that we're experiencing in some parts of the county. In my neighborhood in North Chevy Chase, we've seen a lot of changes. We have a new salt barn, the long closure of our local bike trail from the Purple Line construction, and we're really navigating increased traffic from a lot of things, including high-density development from our growing population, like at Chevy Chase Lake. And at the same time, we've lost literally thousands of trees in our area as roads and rails expand. So we notice this loss of green space, and it's a trade-off for the benefits of development. But you know, my neighborhood and the whole county are really vibrant and beautiful places to live. And it's thanks in no small part to our parks. They're places we go to play and to connect and really to find a peaceful space. So parks are more important to us than ever as the county continues to develop. Second, parks are super important for our health and our well-being. They're the best medicine we have. Studies show that when we use parks, they boost our cardiovascular health, build bone density, they combat loneliness, they help with anxiety and stress. And of course, trees in our parks are natural air filters and natural air conditioners. And they reduce harmful particulate pollution, and they really cool down our neighborhoods on hot summer days. We all experience these benefits, and really sometimes it's just as a feeling of, gosh, I'm really so glad I made it to the park today. So there just is that better parks mean better schools. And my kids really thrived here. And it's thanks in part to the synergy between our great public schools and our great public parks. Studies show that parks are really good for kids. They improve academic performance, they reduce stress and support healthier and happier children. When we invest in parks, we're investing in education, in health, and in a strong community. So as a very long-time county resident, this is my ask of you. Please do what you can to fully fund our Parks Department this year. We all so much depend on our parks for the quality of life that makes our county so special. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thomas Murphy?
Good afternoon, Madam President, members of the council. I'm Tom Murphy, and I appreciate this chance to comment on the county exec's proposed increase in the property tax levy for our schools. I submitted a written statement. I hope you'll have time to read it. To save time here, I'll just quickly summarize my points. I'm a retired Fed on a fixed income with no kids in MCPS, and my current property taxes already exceed the SALT limit. All are good reasons why I should oppose the proposed increase. But I'm here to support it, and I urge you to support it for 3 reasons. First, MCPS is a core element of our county's soul as a great community. Our schools are widely known and respected for academic excellence and for the values of inclusion, tolerance, and respect that they teach. Second, the proposal is reasonable and appropriate in the context of the overall county budget and our current economic climate. Although even with the increase, MCPS will still face significant critical unmet needs. Finally, and perhaps most important here, beyond this budget, there's a matter of principle. Public education today is under attack, and the attackers are folks on the far right politically who, for reasons I cannot understand, not only dislike our common values of decency in our community, but also want to suppress the teaching of them in our schools. They fear strong, independent public school systems like MCPS because we embrace diversity and teach basic values like respect for each and every person as a human being. That, quite frankly, annoys the daylights out of them, and it motivates their efforts to undermine public education. So it's especially important now that communities like ours demonstrate rock-solid and unswerving support for public education, even if it means accepting modest tax increases. Terry Learman, a prominent local leader and activist I admire, often emphasizes the critical importance of public education by reminding us that our children are messengers we send to a future we'll never see. And the values these messengers will carry with them will shape the world's future. We must therefore protect free and independent public education from efforts to undermine it, and budgets are likely to be a key battleground going forward. It's critical that we prepare for the future by staying current in funding our schools. For the above reasons, I urge you to support the county exec's request. Thank you.
Thank you. Maria Bryancon?
Do I have that on? We can hear me? Okay, yay. Okay, hi, County Council President Stewart. Thank you for the opportunity to address the County Council today. I'm Maria Briançon, President of Poolesville Area Senior Center, also known as Poolesville Seniors. We're asking for your vote in favor of the county executive's proposed budget regarding legacy grants. We're a successful, growing senior rec program in the Up County. We're grateful to the county for having received a community grant annually since 2016, and also as an FY25 Legacy Grant awardee. Despite lacking a permanent home and access to public transportation, we continue to offer quality physical, intellectual, and social opportunities for seniors to stay active and combat the harmful effects of isolation and inactivity. Community grants, about 25% of our budget. In FY25, OGM rejected our application. We learned we couldn't receive another community grant till FY28. Given other grants that are offered by the county don't meet the needs of our mission, we're grateful to have received that one-year legacy grant extension. We're growing big and fast. In 24, we served 1,164 unique attendees, more than double what we did in 23. We offered 783 free events in 2024, about 520 in 23. Total attendance surpassed 11,500 in 2024. We're reaching out to more diverse audiences, and we now offer WUMCO clients our calendar of events in Spanish. Pickleball is huge. We have 200 registered players. Around 30 are competing in this year's Maryland Senior Olympics. 10 previous winners are going on to compete in nationals in Des Moines in May. Our team Jaws, we just clocked the fastest time for the second place beating the second place finishers by 30 seconds in the cardboard boat regatta contest that you all put on. Our program's popular. In March, we had 60 attendees for Shamrock Shenanigans Bingo, 100 for the Motown Dance Party, and now we've started Chair Fitness, a class for our less mobile patrons. We juggle different church rental spaces, and now we're renting MCPS facilities too. Our chair class has doubled to 40 attendees since we introduced it in September, and it was twice a month, and now we're going to offer it weekly. Fundraising has improved, but not to the level we need to keep pace. We're thankful to both the county and the town of Poolesville for supporting us. Our board and tiny staff work hard to raise the remaining 50% of our budget, and we're mindful seniors live on fixed incomes and local businesses are stretched their own giving capacity. Support us, please.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you to everyone on this panel. I'd like to call up Kathleen Mim, Ruth Knoll, Leslie Graham, Bhavneet Bajan, Nadine Mason-Mort. And Kathleen Mim can start when you're ready.
Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity to speak with you today. I am a lifelong resident of Montgomery County, having been born and raised here and have raised a family of my own in the county. In addition, I've worked in the Bethesda-Rockville area for over 30 years. As the fabric of the county has changed over the years, one significant improvement is the availability and accessibility of natural surface trails and community parks. These trails and park areas provide an accessible respite from the grind of daily life for many residents. These green spaces provide a relatively low-budget bonus to living in Montgomery County, making Montgomery County a desirable place to live and own a business, which in turn contributes to a healthy tax base. In the scheme of things, the park budget is tiny, but the rewards to the county residents are immeasurable, yet critical to the physical and mental wellness of the communities. I'm speaking in favor of fully funding the MoCo Parks budget request so that the county can continue to maintain and expand the existing natural surface trails and local parks in the county that provide so many benefits to the county residents. For myself, I volunteer a significant amount of time teaching basic mountain biking skills to encourage families and women, both young and old, to get outside and enjoy the excellent trail system and the parks that are in their backyard. I encourage the county to fully fund the park budget so that the department can continue to make Montgomery County a highly desirable place to live and work by providing well-maintained and varied outdoor spaces and trails for the diverse communities that the county serves. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next, we have Ruth Knoll.
Hi, I am Ruth Knoll, a county resident testifying on behalf of Presbyterians for Police Transformation, which is a ministry of Tacoma Park Presbyterian Church. From our inception as followers of the nonviolent Jesus, we have strongly supported shifting a portion of the public funds now going to policing to non-policing services and interventions that are less dangerous, particularly to our people of color, and more successful at de-escalating and preventing violence. This would help prevent the criminalizing of non-criminal behavior and address the real causes of a safety situation, which we've heard about today in terms of mental illness, substance abuse, and homelessness. Therefore, we urge the council to amend the budget by transferring sufficient funds from the police department to achieve the following. 1, further expand the mobile crisis outreach teams, including in Tacoma Park and Down County. 2, increase salaries of therapists and peer counselors throughout the county government to be competitive with other local jurisdictions, including using large hiring bonuses to recruit this staff rather than police. 3, more quickly staff restorative justice in all schools. The results from Montgomery County Public Schools show that this breaks the cycle of misconduct. 4, increase the number of recreational activities and sports leagues and provide scholarships so that families that cannot currently afford to participate may do so. And 5, expand the Team Works employment program. These funds can come from eliminating community engagement officers in the schools, which have not proven to be effective in safety and we have consistently opposed. 2, reducing the number of MCPD community events, shifting these funds to parks and recreation, and we've heard a lot of testimony on why that's important today. 3, reducing weapons training and not purchasing weapons such as rifles and drones that perpetuate a warrior culture. 4, eliminating some of the vacant positions of MCPD. And 5, taking out any funding from MCPD and the county's legal budgets for resources that support or maintain the Memorandum of Understanding with the Fraternal Order of Police that undermines Anton's Law, a law that supports transparency and accountability, and it is the law of the land, and the county should be supporting it. And we ask the council advise the executive to terminate that MOU. Be courageous in standing up for equity by making the above changes to the 2026 budget. We stand with hope for an equitable and just county. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next, we have Leslie Graham.
Good afternoon, council members. I'm Leslie Graham. I represent the Primary Care Coalition as its president and CEO, and myself as a longtime resident of the county. In both roles, I recognize that this is the kind of budget year where everybody dreads. To paraphrase Governor Moore, only the hard choices are left for us now. And I'm here today to talk about a hard choice that we must commit to, and that's to provide an increased budget to the county's healthcare safety net, specifically the Montgomery Cares and Care for Kids programs. It might be tempting to tell our nonprofit health centers that we simply have to wait, that for yet another year, they should just fundraise more. But these programs were built as public nonprofit partnerships, and the county is falling short of its share. As a reminder, the public part of these partnerships was to be 70% of the cost. The actual share has dipped closer to 40%. On behalf of PCC and our partner health centers, I'm here to tell you that more waiting, it isn't an option. The health care being provided for 35,000 uninsured neighbors, 3% of our county's population, it can't wait. The county executive recognized this in his budget proposal, allocating an additional $1.9 million for the Montgomery Cares support and $334,000 for Care for Kids program. Neither proposed addition is enough, but this, I know, is not a budget year of enough. This is a budget year of life support while we work on what is next together. And the CE's recommendation is that life support that is needed. As I speak today at our 11 partner health centers, specialists, et cetera, doctors, nurses, medical assistants, they're seeing patients. They're monitoring high blood pressure, they're offering cancer screenings, and they're asking patients, have you felt hopeless or depressed in the recent past? None of these things can wait for a better economic climate. These healthcare professionals do the job because they care deeply about the health of our community, even when their work is very hard. And these compassionate teams, they need to earn a living, and they'll leave if they're not paid a respectful wage. Health centers must pay their bills too, even as nonprofits. The CE's proposed increase will not make the jobs at our health centers easier, but it will make them possible to continue in the face of relentlessly rising healthcare costs, increasing need, and people who need the services at the health centers, and a fundraising outlook that, quite frankly, looks bleak. I remind you that the Montgomery Cares and Care for Kids budgets are largely excluded from the annual nonprofit inflationary adjustment. Increases to the program budgets must come from you, the council. So I am asking you as partners to keep the healthcare safety net alive. We cannot do it by ourselves, and I thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Next we have Bhavneet Bajan.
Yeah, Bhavneet Bajaj. I am a resident of Montgomery County, and I've lived here for more than 30 years. I'm also a small business owner that does IT services and have been affected by the federal DOGE cuts and lost contracts within the federal government. And on top of that, as part of Westmore's plan of implementing 3% service tax on IT businesses, we are going to face some very strong headwinds, and not just at the professional level, but personally as well, because as a LLC, it impacts us directly. And as all residents, we've heard a lot today, how all of these programs are important, and that's great. And I think it's a very tough decision for the council members to figure out what to fund and what not to fund, and it's a difficult choice. But having said all of that, we all face headwinds. As you said, the climate is not very conducive, and everybody is facing hardships. So are we. I mean, the cost, inflation has gone up significantly for everyone in the county, including homeowners cost in terms of insurance costs. And I am here today opposing the 3.5% hike in the property taxes. Right? It affects all of us. The number of homes in Montgomery County is consistently increasing. The cost of homes have gone up as well. The pricing in terms of when you go to buy a home, it's more expensive. So clearly there is additional revenue that's coming in, but it's up to the council members to really figure out how to balance the budget. A lot of us also have to manage with lowered budgets ourselves, and we are going to make cuts at a personal level and do things less than what we were doing before. One of the things that County Executive Ehrlich mentioned that, Donald Trump is going to cut the taxes, so the tax increase is justifiable. Let's wait for that to happen and then propose that tax increase. I don't think we have seen anything. I don't think we can trust what the president says, and whether he's going to do it or not is another thing. So, I'm requesting council members to really consider and say, what? Let's not raise property taxes more than what they are today. Thank you.
Nadine Maison-Mort.
Hi, my name is Nadine Maisoni-Mort, and I've been a resident of Montgomery County since 1975. I've been a member of many organizations as officers and a volunteer, as well as I've been a special education mediator for 40 years. Currently, it's my privilege to serve on the Montgomery County Pride Family Center's Community Advisory Board under the leadership and guidance of Philip Alexander Downey, our brilliant and dynamic CEO. I'm here today to turn the clock back to 1998. I don't always carry, I have a locket instead of this. I don't always carry a huge picture. When my twins were entering their teens and realizing that they were different from most of their friends. That was when their peers suddenly melted away and they found themselves without the support groups that most other kids had. We were lucky that they had each other and a supportive chosen family. Sadly, they had no one their own age to confide in, no safe place to go to be themselves and find support from other kids or adults to share similar experiences and to belong. So I know firsthand the fear, the deep loneliness, the desperate need we are asking you to acknowledge and address today to provide not just continued but increased funding for the Montgomery County Pride Family Centers. You all recognize that this is a very desperate time. The emotional damage, the Trump administration's verbal attacks, demeaning policy changes, and outrageous scapegoating are like daggers into the heart. They take an enormous and physical toll on the citizens, your neighbors, young people, elders that you represent. Funding the LGBTQIA plus life-affirming and life-saving programs, safe spaces, and wellness resources for youth, adults, and elders are a critical need. Today, I'm asking you to do just one thing. The one thing that you can do to make a real impact on the lives of LGBTQIA plus families, individuals, and allies. That's a big group in this county. That one thing is to fully fund and hopefully expand the support for the Montgomery County Pride Family Centers. Finally, please accept my most sincere thanks for all you have done to make this amazing life-saving resource a reality.
Thank you, and thank you everyone on this panel. Our next panel is Mohit Sagal, Philip Alexander Downey, Paula Ross, Kenneth Bauer, and Daniela Shavico. What is it? Mohit, if you want to start.
Yep. Good afternoon, council members. Thank you for having us. Mohit Sehgal. I am a longtime county resident as well as a business owner in Montgomery County. And I'm, listening to all the people that came up today and gave their time. I really appreciate why we love this county, why we live here, and all the great things that we have. But I want to speak on the other side of the equation, right? We're asking for budget increase. Some may consider it large, some may consider it small, but it comes out of somebody's pocket. And I think that a lot of stakeholders represented, the people that they represent and the people that all these programs are going to benefit when they ask for an increase in the budget. But the one thing that's going to impact everybody in this county is going to be an increase in our property taxes. Whether you're a homeowner or a renter, it's going to get passed down to you. And frankly, I oppose that. I oppose an increase in our property taxes. As a business owner, I have spent the last 2 weeks talking to employees that we had to let go. People who live in this county, people who live in DC, people who live in Virginia, and give them the hard news about how they don't have a job anymore, right? So, because contracts got cut overnight. So let's look at the macro picture in the DMV, and let's look at what's going to happen in the next 6 months, 12 months, as people come off those jobs. The immediate impact is not really known yet, right? Because first you get over the shock of losing your job. And then you say, you know what, I have 6 months in the bank, I can maybe make it through. But, there's 280,000 federal employees slated for cutting. And a majority of them are going to be in the DMV. So when we think about, what's the next thing? All right, food on the table. How do I pay for my kids' educations and how do I pay for groceries? And then in September, you're going to get your tax bill. That's going to be going up. Even if it's a few $100s, it doesn't matter. It goes up every year, by the way, right? So we all have seen, if it's not the tax rate, it's the assessment that goes up. And it's great. We get great benefits from that. But I think now is the time to put a pause on spending, right? So we all have to dig deep. I have to dig deep. My family does. The people getting laid off, they're going to have to dig deep and think about how they can cut their budgets. I don't think that this is the appropriate time for us to ask them to pay more. And I'm not saying to cut off the services that people are asking for. I think those are very important. I think they benefit our citizens and our community and make this a great place to live. But I think that giving more at this point, I think instead we should be all looking at each other and saying, how do we balance our budget? How do we make do with less right now, or maybe not make do with what we have and not ask for more? Because I think that the job cuts coming to this community I don't think and the tariffs, price increases, I don't think we felt the effect yet. And I think that's going to happen over the next months, maybe years. So that's all I want to say. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Philip Alexander Downey.
Thank you all for having me. Good afternoon, Council President Stewart and esteemed members of the County Council. My name is Philip Alexander Downey, he, him, and I have the honor of serving as the Chief Executive Officer of the Montgomery County Pride Family Moco Pride Center, Inc. We're the consortium of LGBTQIA+ service, advocacy, and arts and culture organizations united in serving Montgomery County, comprised of Living Your Truth, Trans Maryland, Drag Story Hour, DC, Maryland, and Virginia, Moco Pride Prom, the Coalition for Inclusive Schools and Communities, Maryland Trans Unity, and Bullsville Pride. Together, we support the wellness, safety, and empowerment of our communities, focusing on those who are most vulnerable. We do this work at a time of extraordinary urgency. According to the Southern Poverty Law Center, there are currently over 500 active anti-LGBTQ+ bills in state legislatures across the United States. These bills attack education, healthcare, drag performances, school policies, and especially the rights and dignity of trans and gender expansive youth. The impact is not theoretical, it is deeply felt in our schools, homes, and community spaces. Right here in Montgomery County, this moment for many of us is about survival. Local LGBTQIA+ individuals, particularly youth and people of color, face disproportionately high rates of homelessness, mental health challenges, food insecurity, violence, and self-harm. These outcomes are not inevitable. They are the result of systematic discrimination. But when we invest in affirming community-led care, we save lives. That is why I'm here today to speak to the critical importance of continued and expanded funding for the Montgomery County Pride family. With your support, we have already built something extraordinary. Through creative programs, culturally responsive outreach, and deep partnerships, we are reaching those who have too often been left behind. I hear the fear from community members and families daily, and unfortunately, I also see the vitriol from those who don't believe in our humanity. But we are preparing monumental next steps in collaboration with the County Executive's Office. We're working to create the first ever LGBTQIA+ Pride Resource Centers in Montgomery County. These spaces will not just be infrastructure, they will be a lifeline, a place of safety, community, and healing, spaces where someone can walk in 365 days a year and find resources, connection, and care. Just like our programs throughout the county, our goal is to offer rotating wellness providers, crisis and mental health support, affirming community, and so much more. These spaces will meet people where they are and walk with them as they move towards safety and self-determination. So I urge you to act boldly. Please continue to stand with us, invest in a future where every LGBTQIA+ person knows they belong, are seen, and are supported. Thank you so much, and I look forward to the work we continue to do together.
Thank you. Paula Ross.
Good afternoon, Council President Stewart and members of the County Council. I'm Paula Ross. I'm President and CEO of the Gaithersburg Germantown Chamber of Commerce, representing over 450 businesses along the upper I-270 corridor. Our chamber serves Gaithersburg, Germantown, Clarksburg, and Damascus, with over 65% of our members comprising very small businesses with fewer than 10 employees. We celebrate that two of our communities, Gaithersburg and Germantown, rank among the 3 most culturally diverse in the country. One of any chamber's primary mission responsibilities is promoting economic development. Through your support with the Emerging Business District Grant, we have been able to make progress in understanding what might make Germantown Town Center thrive over time. While there is much work to be done, as this is intended as a 3-year project, we appreciate your commitment to this important economic development work. We also express our support for public safety initiatives, such as the Drone as a First Responder program in Germantown. Our members also appreciate and support the County Executive's recommendation to fund Montgomery College's full request. Montgomery College has been an excellent partner in our business community, to our business community and workforce development. However, we are concerned about the County Executive's proposed budget with regard to increased property taxes and new fees. Many are struggling with federal job losses and the financial impact of recent legislative changes in Annapolis, on top of increased property tax assessments and a property tax rate increase just 2 years ago. It's crucial to note that raising property taxes to support our school system is not yielding the desired results and is intertwined with our housing challenges. First, MCPS. Of course, we need a top-notch school system. That's the very best economic development tool to attract and retain talent here. Our chamber was happy to host Dr. Taylor for a conversation about the vast challenges facing MCPS. Dr. Taylor was honest in sharing his in the sharing of troublesome outcomes in reaching reading and math benchmarks. The taxpayers' money isn't solving these problems. With the significant additional spending for MCPS over the past several years and a lower enrollment in that same period, we hope that you will hold MCPS accountable to the taxpayers for improved outcomes. Second, addressing housing affordability is vital. We see the property tax issue as part of the larger housing issue. Increasing property taxes will simply not help people afford homes or encourage investment in housing. All told, our small business members cannot absorb additional cost increases, especially given the already high expenses of doing business here, with Maryland ranking a troubling 46th in overall business climate in the country. Outmigration of wealth to other areas is a significant challenge that weakens our tax base. Our population is lower than it was in 2020, and we offer fewer jobs than we did in 2005. Our county budget since that time is far outpacing inflation and population growth. We trust you to revise the budget in ways that support the hardworking residents and businesses driving Montgomery County's economy. It is essential to recognize that perpetuating wealth flight through higher taxes and fees only deepens our budget issues. We must prioritize sustainable economic development that invites investment and strengthens the services valued by our residents and our businesses. You will receive a written statement from the Chamber that goes into more depth than 3 minutes allows. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Kenneth Bauer.
Good afternoon, Council President Stewart, Vice President Juando, and council members. My name is Kenneth Bauer. Unlike some of the other speakers, I'm here to save you money. In the FY26 operating budget, the Coalition to Stop Stream Destruction urges you to decrease funding for the Department of Environmental Protection and Parks to stop the environmental destruction and loss of green space and countless trees caused by their so-called stream restoration projects. Specifically, salaries for DEP and Parks personnel who have been promoting stream restorations should be eliminated because they are lying to the public and the county council about the purported benefits of stream restorations. An example of DEP's greenwashing is their My Green Montgomery newsletter, which included the following utter nonsense. Quote, "The video highlights the importance of stream restoration projects in preserving and improving the health of our local waters and the positive impact on the environment," unquote. Facts matter. These statements are demonstrably false, given the published science, photographic documentation of the destruction stream restorations cause, failed projects in Montgomery County, and DEP's own statements. DEP only does visual inspections to claim that their projects stop erosion. If DEP was your physician, they would say, let's skip the blood tests and the MRI, I'll just do a visual inspection. We need to hold DEP and Parks to a higher standard, and demand facts, not empty claims. DEP and Parks' attack on truth and science parallels what the Trump administration is doing at the federal level. This rises to the level of waste, fraud, and abuse. DEP and Parks cannot refute the fact that scientific papers analyzed over 700 stream restorations and concluded that stream restorations do not work. Again, facts matter. DEP admitted in a private meeting that none of their past projects have improved stream ecology. Stream restorations do not stop erosion. One example is the failed Lower Booze Creek project in Montgomery County that was repaired for $3.6 million. We need to control stormwater runoff at its source in public spaces as much as possible, and then require the private sector to stop dumping their stormwater into our public streams. The operating budget for DEP and Parks personnel who have been frankly lying about the bogus benefits of so-called stream restorations should be eliminated. Please see the details in my written testimony. Thank you for the consideration of this input.
Thank you. Danila Shaveiko.
Madam President, distinguished council members, first of all, for the record, harsh words aside, I have to wholeheartedly second Mr. Bauer's testimony. DEP cannot cite a single peer-reviewed study to back up their stream restoration strategy that has cost this county hundreds of millions of dollars. And unfortunately, biology and ecology are not the only sciences denied by the DEP operating budget. The science of finance is denied as well. Most of the funds raised by the water quality protection charge do not actually finance investments in our water quality. Instead, this money is used to pay for DEP's operating expenses and debt service, payments to Wall Street, to rent our own money back to us. That's right. Since DEP uses water quality funds for operating expenses, any actual water quality improvements have to be financed with debt. Why? Because DEP touts their 20-year 4% revenue bonds and asserts that debt like bonds is a cheaper way to finance than cash. Assert on the record they do this. This is denial of science, right? Finance is a science. You know what the cost to finance $1 million with $1 million in cash is? Zero, right? You know what the cost to finance $1 million with debt, with bonds, with their bonds? $800,000. You heard that right. For every $1 million DEP uses on these stream restorations, another $800,000 goes to Wall Street. In the meantime, the Water Quality Protection Fund is used as a cash cow, milked to fund operating expenses and projects that have nothing to do with water quality, leaving only about 1% of all the revenue raised for projects that materially improve our waters. Only 1% of nearly $1 billion raised. This is why our streams are not drinkable, not swimmable, and not even wadeable. This is why we can't have nice things. This is what Mahid was talking about. Good water quality is not a pipe dream. Go to Baltimore. I can take you on a tour of Baltimore County if you want, where we can snorkel in their crystal clear streams surrounded by trout. I'm serious. I've done it last year. I can take you there. That's what rational science-based water quality, water policy looks like. Alas, not here in Montgomery County. We're in extinction apocalypse. Losing species to extinction forever, every day, losing them at a rate of between 25 and 150 species every day. This does not have to be this way, okay? The time to act is now. The time to stop denying science is now. The time to stop denying biology and ecology and finance is now. The time to stop pointing fingers at DC is now. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you to everyone who is on this panel. Our last in-person panel for this afternoon includes Lee Blinder, Eula Libadeva, Letitia Gassaway-Paul, Gayatri Giravirajan, Trufina Choti, and Makita Richardson. Letitia, what did I say? Oh, sorry.
You did get close.
Okay. Lee, you can kick us off when you're ready.
Okay. Good afternoon, council members. My name is Yulia Lebedeva, and I serve as Human Resources Director at Advanced Bioscience Laboratories, ABL, located in Rockville. ABL is a CDMO specializing in drug development and manufacturing services. I'm here today to express our strong support for Montgomery College and in particular the BioTrain program. ABL has partnered with Montgomery College for nearly 3 years, and I cannot overstate the value this partnership has brought to our organization. Last year, 45% of ABL's workforce participated in at least one BioTrain session at Montgomery College. Montgomery College is highly flexible and responsive to our soft and technical skills training needs. The quality of instruction and material in biomanufacturing, quality control, compliance, and other core domains have been consistently high. These programs directly align with the rigorous standards of our industry and support the professional growth of our workforce. In addition to training, we have successfully hired Montgomery College graduates. Their readiness and ability to contribute from day one are a testament to the strength of the academic programs and the dedication of the college's faculty and staff. Montgomery County is now home to the third largest biohub in the U.S. This momentum results from investments in our workforce, infrastructure, and collaborative programs like BioTrain, designed to build and sustain a robust biotech ecosystem. I speak to you today not only as an HR professional in the life sciences sector, but also as a Montgomery County resident and the mother of 2 young children. Montgomery College is a vital resource for our community and our industry. It is helping shape the future of our workforce and, in turn, our local and national economies. Thank you for the opportunity to share our experience. I urge you to continue supporting Montgomery College and programs like BioTrain. They are an investment in our collective future.
Thank you. Next, I believe Linder. Good afternoon, Council President Stewart, Council Vice President Juwando, and esteemed council members. My name is Lee Blinder. I use they, them pronouns, and I'm the Executive Director of Trans Maryland. I'm also a proud member of the MoCo Pride family and the chair of the Maryland Commission on LGBTQIA+ affairs. I grew up here in the county. I went to school here. I became the advocate that I am here, and I was proud to spend Trans Day of Visibility with my MoCo Pride family last Monday. I spent that morning in Annapolis asking state leadership for more protections and resources for this community, and to be back in Montgomery County where words are put into real action and backed up by real dollars that are invested into this community who are in crisis means so much to me. We are doing something special here in Montgomery County, and we are working to let people know that we want to lead in this state by continuing to invest in the trans and LGBTQIA+ community. The material impact of physical spaces like the Montgomery County Pride Center that is building out cannot be understated. The attacks in our community from the top office in the nation have been fast and furious, with several executive orders attempting to remove us from public life. And a federal administration who have made their animus against this community crystal clear. We need our allies to understand the impact of this crisis on our ability to live our whole lives. The peril to our inalienable right to experience joy and to thrive is tangible. Your support of the MoCo Pride Center family directly addresses this crisis. As we are considering the upcoming budget allocations for the MoCo Pride family, we want to ensure that we have the funding allocated for a care navigator position. We are receiving constant inquiries for support from trans and queer individuals and their families, and we need a dedicated position to address those inquiries who will work to increase cultural competency with partner organizations in the county. As trans and queer people, we live at the intersections of identity: Black trans people, brown trans people, Indigenous trans people, disabled trans people, trans immigrants. Every vulnerable community is also represented in the transgender community, but not every service organization is prepared to welcome the LGBTQIA+ community in an affirming manner. The service navigator position is the key link to bridge the gap between our community's needs and existing resources. Here at home, our county leadership knows that we cannot flinch. We have to say we love our trans and queer neighbors. We have to say we will protect the trans and queer people who live and work in this county, especially the most vulnerable of us. We have to continue to commit to not leaving anyone behind, even as it gets harder and harder to do so. Thank you all for making that ongoing commitment to us and for your continued investment into this community. More than anything, I want to say thank you that we can do this incredible work together. Thank you very much. Letitia Gassaway-Paul.
Good afternoon, Council President and esteemed members of the Council. My name is Letitia Gassaway-Paul, and I have the honor of serving the President of Scotland Juneteenth Heritage Festival, a celebration deeply rooted in Montgomery County's history and grounded in the values of community, unity, and forward progress. In just 2 years, our festival has blossomed into the largest Juneteenth celebration in the entire DMV region. With pride and purpose, we carry Montgomery County name far and wide amplifying its legacy and its promise. Today, I come before you with the heartfelt ask to include our festival in the county's fiscal year 2026 operating budget. Our festival is a homecoming for all of Montgomery County's historic Black communities, from Sandy Spring and Emory Grove to Lincoln Park and Stewarttown and everywhere in between. We gather to celebrate, to remember, uplift the rich legacy of the role Black Americans played in building this county. Celebrating Juneteenth on land once belonged to freed slaves is truly a way to reclaim our legacy. Juneteenth is Freedom Day. It is sacred anthem of liberation, echoing through our souls with every beat of a drum, every joyful dance, every voice raised in triumph praise. And while we are grounded in Black history, the festival is a powerful celebration of all people. Our attendees reflect race, ethnicity, generation, and every walk of life. It is a mirror of the multicultural mosaic that makes Montgomery County one of the most diverse counties in the country. That inclusive spirit extends to faith as well. I have held hands, broke bread, and been in prayer with many of you. We proudly honor the full spectrum of our interfaith community. Faith is the core of all of us. At the Interfaith Brunch, we come together in love, united in word and in his truth. He is the God of every nation. Praise his name. In 2024, we invested over $375,000 to ensure our festival's success. And in 2025, that number is expected to exceed over $400,000. What's more, over 80% of those funds go back into the community that we all serve. This is economic empowerment in action. This isn't just an investment in a weekend, it's an investment in a movement with a mission supporting minority nonprofits throughout Montgomery County. The story of Scotland and Juneteenth is Montgomery County's history, and while parts of that history are painful, you have the power to make history and drive lasting changes. Make your mark, use your voice, approve the budget, and stand with me. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Gayatri Guerrero-John.
Good afternoon. My name is Gayatri, and I've been a resident of Montgomery County for 20 plus years. I'm testifying today to ask the council to end the grant to the Maryland Israel Development Center. In times of dire financial uncertainty, particularly in housing, schools, and all of our vulnerable communities like we've heard today, it's important that we reevaluate our priorities and make sure our investments and our budget do indeed benefit the well-being of the community as a whole. And I do not believe that MIDC is a beneficial investment, especially considering the thousands of dollars going to it that could be going to vulnerable communities. The MIDC facilitates funding for defense companies like RADA, ELTA, and the Rafael Defense Systems alongside its medical and business ventures. These companies are part of the defense apparatus that Israel has been famous for decades. While one may argue that it is standard practice for all countries to develop international partnerships, it's most important to acknowledge that the Israeli defense industry is centered around quote-unquote testing its weapons in Palestine. In the 2013 Israeli documentary, The Lab, Israeli Minister of Trade General Benjamin Ben-Elazar says that there is demand for Israeli weapons because, quote-unquote, if Israel sells weapons, they've been tested. What this means is that Palestinians, since 2023, since 2021, since 2014, since the 1980s, and really since 1948, have been subject to constant surveillance, invasions, bombings, tanks, walls, and other inhumane and internationally illegal methods of occupation that these companies facilitate. According to Oxfam International in 2024, the daily death rate in Gaza was higher than any other major 21st century conflict, and this continues to hold true in 2025 as the death toll rises every day. In the past 24 hours alone, 58 Palestinians have been killed. I would ask the council to think about what they would ask of the world if bombs and missiles were detonating in Montgomery County day and night for a year and a half. What would you demand from the world if it was your parents, friends, siblings, children, and your community who had to run from explosions, rebuild their houses, and bury their community members every day? The bare minimum you might ask is that communities around the world say no to the companies and people facilitating the production of this weaponry. The funding going to the MIDC could be used for essential services supporting the people of Montgomery County, like we've seen here today. And at the end of the day, no matter how essential something might seem to business or reputation, if the cost is that hundreds of children are dying for it, it is not essential. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Trufina Choti.
Good afternoon, Council President Stewart, Vice President Jawando, and esteemed members of the Montgomery County Council. My name is Dr. Trufina Choti, and I have the pleasure of serving as the CEO of Every Thrive, a growing community-based nonprofit that is based in Aspen Hill. And this community welcomed me and my young family 21 years ago when I came this country as an international graduate student. And when I asked my professor where we could find a place to rent an apartment, she gave me 20906 as my zip code to search. And I've been a resident of 2096 for 21 years, serving in District 6 with Council Member Fan Gonzalez, and I'm proud member. In this zip code, we have raised our 3 children through MCPS schools, Montgomery College, and the University of Maryland, who are now professionals serving in the county. So I love this community, and that's where I made a decision some 6 years ago to transition from international development to work in community service. And I'm here to thank you so much for the support that you're giving to community organizations in the county that are working in the trenches, including Every Thrive. And as we get into this budget, I want to reintroduce Every Thrive, that we reach some of the most vulnerable individuals in our county, the low-income immigrant community, who often struggle silently with hunger and hardship. Due to cultural stigma and past trauma, many of them find it difficult to fulfill their needs, but they have come to trust Every Thrive. And this is especially became clear during the pandemic. We currently serve over 1,000 families every month. And at this level of service, we still struggle to find rent for an office space or a warehouse. At the same time, we run community gardening program, and many of you have had the pleasure of coming to our Poolsville farm, which is being donated to us by a member of the community. But we cannot invest much in the infrastructure because we do not own or have a long-term lease on this. So I'm asking the council members, as you consider the FY26 budget, remember capacity building for profit non-profit like Every Thrive that needs infrastructure to support the families. And at the time when this community is being traumatized by rhetoric that is happening, they are threatened and feeling excluded. I want you to your investment to help the families not only to survive, but to feel safe, seen, and included in Montgomery County. Every Thrive is proud to be part of this fabric in Montgomery County, and with your support, we will continue to serve, uplift, and empower those who call this county home. Thank you so much for believing in us and in the power of our community.
Thank you. Makita Richardson.
Yes. Good afternoon, council members, neighbors, and community members. My name is Makita Richardson, and I'm a proud resident of Montgomery County. I serve as the board chair of Montgomery County Pride Family, MoCo Pride Center, Inc., which is a local consortium of LGBTQIA+ service providers, advocacy groups, and arts and cultural organizations. I am also a Black and Native American two-spirited woman deeply rooted in this community. I am Halawasaponi. I am in this community as a neighbor, a business owner, a coach, a care manager, and as an advocate. I would like to share a quick story with you. Last month, a young queer high school student came to visit the boxing gym that me and my partner own. They were nervous, quiet, and unsure if they belonged. Over the course of a few weeks, that same high school student started to smile more, show up more, speak more, and even offered to volunteer for one of our boxing programs. Their mentor told us with tears in their eyes that this is the one place, one of the first places that their mentee have felt safe in a long time, that they loved being at our gym and really looked up to me and my partner. This moment stuck with me because it's not just one young person. There are many that share parts of this mentee's story and have their own experiences of feeling trapped, casted aside, overlooked, ostracized, dismissed, and under constant attack. When affirming spaces are available, people thrive. When they're missing, the consequences are hurtful and extremely heartbreaking. I've seen young people be isolated, elders go unseen, and trans and queer folks turned away from spaces and care simply because the infrastructure to support and welcome them does not exist. Organizations like MoCo Pride Center, Living Your Truth, and Trans Maryland fill these critical gaps, from hosting support groups and educational events to connecting folks with housing, healthcare, and hope. But these efforts are strained, they're under attack and underfunded, yet they are desperately needed. So I'm here today to say clearly, funding LGBTQIA programs is not optional. It is life-saving. We urgently need safe, affirming spaces for people of all ages, political and health linkages to care, youth engagement and elder support, trans and queer expansive resources, outreach and education to fight hate with understanding, and critical, a physical pride resource center right here in Montgomery County. So I urge City Council to continue and expand funding for Montgomery County Pride Family and the MoCo Pride Center so that these vital services don't just survive but thrive. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you to everyone who came to testify today, everyone who came in person. We are going to now move to the virtual testimony for this afternoon, and our first person we have is Karen Metchus.
Yes. Good afternoon. Thank you for the opportunity to testify today. My name is Karen Metchus. I'm speaking today as an individual. I'm retired from USCPA, and I'm associated with several local environmental and social justice groups. And frankly, I am actually at a loss for words. We're in a new state of paralysis precipitated by the extreme right-wing agenda of the lying oligarchic wannabe Donald Trump and the fascistic, unhinged, apartheid-bred Elon Musk and their minions. I know you are under pressure to deliver services today that we've heard about earlier, and that you're finding it hard to contemplate funding our responsibility to future generations to leave them a planet that is not racked by climate change. You have children, as I do. My 32-year-old daughter is in a state of crisis. My friends' young adult children also. And yours are probably too. Do you know knowing what they know about climate change, seeing the daily erosion of our government and our economy, how can they plan for the future? Yet the future is all they have, and as a mother, it's my future too. I implore you to fund the future. Do not cut the Green Bank allocation. Please fund this at the full 10% allocation, not 8.5% as proposed by the county executive. This is the wisest investment we have that leverages private capital. And while it may seem the Parks Department is a nice to have rather than a necessity, in fact, it plays a key role for climate change. Their efforts preserve forests and green space to maximize carbon sequestration, and perhaps actually more urgently is to cool the planet, given our lack of progress in stemming climate change. Parks and open space also provide a degree of respite to our stressed out communities. Two options the council did not fund in the past years are actually quite important. To find more places to promote solar generation, we need a solar strategic plan. And to ensure our land use policies are informed by the best available information, we need a planner focused on climate policy in the planning department. And of course, to enlist the public to take urgent action, it's key again to provide a one more time funding for the climate outreach program for a second year. I'm urgently asking you, please don't let our children's future slip away. Plan for 7 generations. Let's not just live for ourselves in this extremely delicate moment. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Next is Jeff Zients. We will go to Kelly Butsack. Kelly, you're muted. Now we can hear you. Yeah.
Time starts now. Thank you, President Stewart, Vice President Giwando, and honorable council members for this opportunity today. I am Kelly Butsack. I'm speaking on behalf of the Montgomery County-based nonprofit arts service organization, Story Tapestries, and our Montgomery County partners. The arts represent the enduring legacy of our community. The arts are the means by which we experience and understand our collective and individual history and cultures. The arts are at the very core of humanity. At Story Tapestries, we see firsthand every day how the arts are essential to the well-being and socioeconomic health of Montgomery County, because we use the arts every day as a powerful tool to create accessible open spaces and opportunities for individuals to reach their potential and to work together to address community issues for all ages across Montgomery County. Whether we are teaching literacy and STEM in an MCPS classroom, doing workforce development in a homeless shelter, offering digital literacy to young adults and seniors, or facilitating community conversations in Long Branch. We need the direct and indirect funding that the county provides to continue the work that we do, to continue to keep the arts accessible as a tool for all, for our constituents and our partners, and especially for those across our community who otherwise lack access to the arts and the tools and resources that provide the skills needed to increase educational and workforce development outcomes for the county. We collaborate with Montgomery County Coalition for the Homeless and WorkSource Montgomery to provide hard and soft workforce skills, resources, and connections to opportunities. We partner with Montgomery College, MCPS, and Montgomery County Parks to provide arts integrated educational programming, and we advocate for the full funding of their proposed budgets, as well as the county executive's proposed 3% increase for the Arts and Humanities Council, and the additional $500,000 requested to meet the grant funding demand in FY26. I also ask that you consider funding a rec center in Montgomery Village, that you continue to fund the Black Rock Center for the Arts, and finally, that you designate funding for Story Tapestries to expand the critical work we do to address disparities in early childhood development, ensure access to quality education and resources, and support students, individuals, and families through programs that bridge the socioeconomic gaps and promote equitable outcomes. In DC and across the state, the arts are facing marginalization. We have always appreciated Council's commitment and support for our sector, especially through these difficult times, both past and present. Your advocacy and support for the arts and humanities at the local level is needed now more than ever. Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have Mr. Zients on? Yeah.
I hope you do.
Yes, we do. We have you. Go ahead.
All right. Thank you, Council President Stewart, members of the County Council. Thank you for allowing me to appear virtually. I wanted to share my testimony, but not my cold. Some things happen every springtime. Cherry blossoms appear, the baseball season begins, the NCAA basketball championships are won, and the executive recommends an operating budget that shortchanges the Parks Department. Some things never change. For example, when my wife looks me over as I start to walk out the door, she says, "You're not wearing that, are you?" The answer to the question is clear. Channeling my wife, I asked the council, "You're not going to approve the executive's recommended budget, are you? A property tax rate increase to fund a BOE requested budget that's almost $300 million more than last year's budget for less students next year, and a parks budget that would not cover expenses from last year's is indefensible. The Parks Department needs $3.2 million more than the executive recommends budget just to maintain services and avoid reducing personnel. About $1 million of the $3.2 million is needed for personnel. The parks budget in total is about 2% of the county's non-BOE budget. When I was working, I would undertake revenue authority facility inspections. Now that I'm retired, I admit that I play golf on park-owned land. I'm also a walker and appreciate the park system's well-maintained bridges, paths, trails, and recreational infrastructure. You've heard other residents who are grateful for the Parks Department's contribution to the quality of life in the county. You have a tough job balancing everybody's interest. Everyone has an ask, and many people are concerned about taxes. I do not want your job. For that matter, I don't want any job. In retirement, I've grown humble. I do not have all the right answers. My golf partners let me know that every time I express an opinion, but I digress. I'm confident the council will once again collectively adopt an operating budget that better reflects the public interest than the unbalanced operating budget recommended by the county executive. Thank you for this opportunity to speak.
Thank you very much. Next, we have Kimberly McBride.
Good afternoon, Council President Stewart and members of the Council. My name is Kim McBride, and I serve as Vice President of Community Health at Holy Cross Health. I'm here today to express our strong support for Montgomery College and to respectfully urge you to fully fund their FY26 operating budget request. At Holy Cross Health, we see first that Montgomery College plays in shaping the future of our healthcare workforce. We are proud to partner with the college in a variety of ways, but perhaps most visibly through our shared Germantown campus, where Holy Cross Germantown Hospital stands as the first hospital in the nation built on a community college campus. That partnership reflects our shared mission to create opportunities, expand access, and strengthen community well-being. Montgomery College is a vital part of our workforce pipeline. We rely on the college to help prepare the nurses, radiology technicians, phlebotomists, pharmacy techs, and medical assistants who care for our community every day. These graduates are well-trained, committed, and ready to meet the complex needs of a diverse population. We don't just partner with the college, we hire their graduates regularly. One of the most impactful areas of collaboration is our Career Pathways program, which helps our entry-level employees gain certification in high-demand fields like certified nursing assistant, certified medical assistant, pharmacy technician, certified health access associate, and phlebotomy. Montgomery College provides the instruction, and Holy Cross removes financial barriers by covering tuition and offering wraparound support. We've seen firsthand how this program helps colleagues move from hourly frontline roles into skilled positions with better wages and growth potential. It's a powerful tool for promoting income equality and career advancement. And it's only possible because of strong partners like Montgomery College. What makes the college exceptional is that they don't just focus on graduation. They focus on the whole student. They work hard to address the social needs that can derail educational progress, connecting students to food, housing assistance, mental health support, and more. The commitment ensures that students don't just start strong, they finish strong. At a time when our healthcare system is grappling with critical workforce shortages, Montgomery College is a key solution. They help us grow talent locally and keep that talent right here in Montgomery County. For all these reasons, I urge you to fully fund Montgomery College's FY26 operating budget. Your support ensures we can continue this essential partnership and continue building a healthier, more equitable future for all. Thank you for your time, your leadership, and your continued investment in our community.
Thank you so much. Next, we have Colleen Salinas.
Good afternoon. My name is Colleen Salinas. I'm the Director of People and Culture for Fiscal, and today I'll be reading the testimony of our President and CEO, Freddie Pesante. Good afternoon, Council members. Thank you for the hard work you do every day for the people of our county. I truly appreciate it. My name is Freddie J. Pesante, an Army veteran, Maryland resident since 2006, and the CEO of Fiscal LLC, a leading IT solutions provider based here in Montgomery County. At Fiscal, we specialize in delivering innovative technology solutions to government agencies and private sector clients, ensuring they stay ahead in an ever-evolving digital landscape. With a team consisting of over 35% veterans and more than 30% Maryland residents, we're proud to support many families within this county. Our workforce continues to be one of the biggest challenges we face as a company. The demand for skilled IT professionals is ever increasing, and finding great talent is paramount. That is why our partnership with Montgomery College and the Tech Map program has been so successful. Throughout the years, Montgomery College has been a tremendous resource, providing a broad range of educational platforms that serve our team, from cloud, cybersecurity, software development, and AI. We are extremely grateful to have a community college that can support our needs as an employer. When hiring a Montgomery College graduate, we know they are well prepared for the job. The up-to-date curriculum, hands-on experience, and top-notch professors make it a no-brainer for employers. The Tech Map program, in particular, has been instrumental in bridging the gap between academic learning and real-world application, providing students with the skills and experience needed to excel in the tech industry. As an advisor to the Tech Map program, I have seen firsthand the passion and willingness to produce technology programs that help their students and the Maryland workforce. It is important to note that Maryland is home to a significant number of federal employees, with approximately 142,876 federal workers residing in the state. This high concentration of federal employees is due to Maryland's proximity to Washington, D.C., and underscores the importance of having a well-educated and skilled workforce to support both federal and private sector needs. Montgomery College and the Tech Map program play a crucial role in reskilling these federal employees, offering a wide range of courses and certifications in high-demand fields such as IT, computing, cybersecurity, and AI. These programs are designed to help individuals transition into new roles, stay current with technological advancements, and enhance their career prospects. By providing flexible learning options, including online and in-person classes, Montgomery College ensures that federal employees can balance their professional responsibilities while gaining new skills. I understand you have difficult decisions to make in the coming weeks as you finalize the operating budget. I ask for your continued support of Montgomery College and its budget request, ensuring this exceptional institute continues to thrive and continues to provide top talent to Montgomery County employers. These programs will benefit Maryland taxpayers. Thank you so much for your time today. Freddie J. Pasante.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Ms. Salinas, for reading that. Next, we have Richard Golub.
Council President Stewart and council members, thank you for your time today. My name is Rich Golub, and I became interested in giving testimony to the County Council when I became aware that the county has continued to provide funding for the Maryland Israel Development Center via funds appropriated at the discretion of the County Executive's Office. Others have already provided testimony describing how the Development Center seeks to bring Israeli businesses to Maryland and Montgomery County. It is understandable that if prior to this discussion, council members were unaware of the funds being designated by the county executive to go to the development center, amounting to approximately $45,000 this past year. It appears that the county executive would like this funding to continue as his dirty little secret. I can see why he isn't keen on discussing his support for the development center for a couple of reasons. One, the county does not provide similar support to any other country seeking to do business in the county. Only Israel gets this special treatment. And two, the companies receiving the support are, of course, based in Israel, a country that was cited by the International Court of Justice for plausibly committing acts amounting to genocide under the Genocide Convention. The ICJ ruling came down in January 2024, and at that time the court encouraged Israel to take steps to minimize the chances of genocide. Instead, Benjamin Netanyahu and the Israeli government has intensified its campaign, killing more than 50,000 Palestinians, mainly women and children, demolishing most of the buildings in Gaza, and attempting to starve the population to death, most recently by blocking all humanitarian aid since March the 2nd. And some of the companies are members of the Development Center are not mom and pop startups needing our help. Some are wholly owned, very profitable businesses owned directly by the Israeli government. Included in the companies are military contractors such as Elta and Rafael Systems that help turn dumb bombs into smart bombs, actively participating in war crimes. In fact, it was a Rafael guided bomb that hit and collapsed a six-story apartment building in southern Lebanon last fall, killing at least 73 people, including 23 children and 19 women. Although some may claim that the Development Center brings jobs to the county, I would ask at what cost? Is bringing a few more jobs and presumably a bit more tax revenue to the county worth becoming a partner with a country actively committing genocide against the Palestinian people? As a resident of Silver Spring for over 27 years and someone raised in the Jewish faith, I want to let the council know that seeing my tax dollars go toward continued atrocities runs entirely counter to the values I was taught as a child, and I think runs counter to the community values we would like to instill in the FY26 budget. I ask the council to take a stand for humanity and please halt the funding of the Maryland Israel Development Center, not as a separate line item in the budget and not as an item left up to the discretion of the county executive. This afternoon I've heard about many critical initiatives worthy of county funding, but the Maryland Israel Development Center is not one of them. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That is the last person we have signed up for today, for this afternoon, for our public hearing. We will be back here again at 7 p.m. So thank you, everyone, and we are in recess till 7 p.m. Thank you.